Welcome back to Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. Today, I believe we'll be doing a little bit of some post commentary as we develop our new command post. The reason I decided to do that was, yeah, there are too many people in the waiting room. There are just way too many people in the waiting room and we have to put people to work. Fair and fine. Most of the reason why Mother Base for me currently is overstocked is because I'm replaying missions I've already done, so technically I'm doubling up on the amount of personnel I could get. But I don't know. Previous episode we had started using D-Dog. As you can see, I had already upgraded his armor to some battle gear. With the knife, of course, and let's just say D-Dog was doing some work. He was putting in some work. Really effective in a 1v1, 1v2 situation. D-Dog kind of becomes useless personally for me when you are, for example, in an alert status and people are now moving groups of maybe 3 or 4 and they are under the command of, you know, shoot to kill. In a situation of alert, I believe D-Dog is useless, but at least he is better than D-Horse, because D-Horse is only for transportation. I don't really know why D-Horse has... how can I say this? Don't know why D-Horse has battle armor, because most of the time when you get shot you fall off the horse anyway. Maybe it's just to protect him from dying, but we'll talk about that in a bit.
Several high-level British CFA officials are being held by their Afrikaner colleagues. One of these prisoners is the rescue target, a guy known as the Viscount. The target's location is unknown, but they're bound to have an interpreter present when they interrogate him. We've used info from the intel unit to predict the interpreter's location. It's on your iDroid. Follow the interpreter and extract the target when you find him. If you're going to use a weapon, be careful not to draw the enemy's attention.
And we will be commencing the mission Lingua Franca. Anyway, in this particular mission we are to rescue one particular prisoner by the codename Viscount. He's apparently been working with British personnel to do something to do with oil rigs and the transportation of oil, I believe, here in Central Africa. But that's just the front. He himself is actually doing some undercover work, and hence why he ended up being caught. Him and his colleagues were caught by the African soldiers here in Central Africa. Apparently though, the Viscount only asks that he himself is to be extracted. He doesn't really give a damn about the prisoners, but you can optionally decide to rescue all the prisoners. If that's up to you, you actually get a bonus for doing that. They are being interrogated at different times and they're being kept in different locations. Interesting.
Analysis complete.
That's not the target. Orders are only the Viscount gets rescued. Can't understand why he'd receive special treatment, but I don't imagine it'll be a problem to save the other prisoners too. You found the interpreter.
Complete.
Now follow him to the target.
As I was saying, interestingly enough, if you were to do a little bit of some research as to...
The CFA are all business. Hard to believe they're interrogating their own. Situation must be worse than we thought. Make a wrong move, and they could kill the target without warning.
If you were to look at some of research on some of hostage situation, interrogation situations in real life world situations, you get to read a little bit into how they go about preparations of interrogations, how they, especially if you're someone from an opposing side, interrogating a civilian is a different thing as to compare to
If you're going to get any information from interrogations, you'll need an interpreter. But don't extract the interpreter just yet. If he doesn't turn up, they won't be able to do the interrogation. If they then decide the target's no longer any use to them, they won't hesitate to kill him.
As I was saying, you get to see some of the preparation to interrogation techniques that they use on people, and I was saying interrogating civilians is different as compared to interrogating enemy, what is considered to be enemy soldiers or people from an opposing group that is against your ideals. Similar to how I'd say, you know, two teams in sport go against each other. There's always fair in love and war, I guess.
Prisoners aren't held together, and the cells and the interrogation rooms are separate places.
So in that regard, they usually come up with different techniques in which to prepare psychologically and physically people for interrogation, whether that be through torture, questioning, etc. Because chances are whoever you're interrogating is not supposed to tell you the things that you want them to tell you anyway, so you have to find a way to break them psychologically, as if you'd break a horse into finally obeying your commands. So in this case, these prisoners are being kept in separate locations away from each other, and this psychologically is a benefit to the interrogator because of the fact that when a group of people are separated from each other, they can't coordinate any form of escape, any form of fake story, any form of they can't even support each other physically. As a group of people, if you suffer together, chances are you can bear through it a little bit more than you would if you're on your own and felt forsaken.
This is your last chance.
Die MPLA se olieveldregte. Waar het die inligting vandaan gekom?
The MPLA's oilfield rights. Where did you get this information?
I told you. I only know it was an anonymous source.
Dit was 'n anonieme bron.
Moenie my vir 'n poepel vat nie.
You're not fooling anybody.
Ask any of the others. Nobody knows anything.
Hy sê jy moet die ander probeer vra.
O, so het same storie opgemaak. Dit is hoekom jy nie die Britte kan vertrou nie. Weet jy hoeveel Afrikaners sit onder die hele gelei tydens die Boereoorlog?
You made up a story with the others. You British are all liars. You know how much the Afrikaners suffered because of you in the Boer War.
That wasn't me.
Hy sê dit was nie hy nie.
Maar dit was julle wat ons verraai het.
But it was you that betrayed us.
It wasn't me. It was the Viscount.
Genoeg! As jy niks weet nie, is ons seker klaar.
Well, apparently that is not the Viscount, and that's not the prisoner we're looking for. But I'm sure, since they are working together, we could get a little bit of information out of them. But as I was saying, keeping prisoners separate from each other destroys that link, that bond that they have, that companionship, hence making the situation a little bit harder because of the fact that they can't support each other in any way.
And it seems the target himself gave us this mission through a representative. Obviously, he couldn't contact us directly due to his predicament, but still, something about this Viscount doesn't add up.
And one more beneficial point that I would like to take into consideration in the eyes of the interrogator himself.
That prisoner wasn't the target either. We got some more information though. They're going to interrogate the target at night.
One more beneficial thing is that you can, if you isolate the prisoners, and let's just say they already have a backup story that they'd wanted to use as a ruse to the interrogators, you can go to who you suspect knows most of the information and lie to that person and say that your partners have already told part of the truth and they've ratted him out and told the interrogators that he knows everything. You can lie to them individually to make them break down and believe that the other members of the associate group have betrayed each other. And such psychological games are very powerful. Some people have gone to such extremities as to even lie that if you don't speak, we'll kill the other people in your group. And even though they may not actually kill them, you can fake this, maybe fire a few gunshots in the distance, have some dogs barking, some screaming, some bellowing, and then come back to the person who you're interrogating and be like, you decided to waste our time, and now we've decided to kill one member of your group. In the next hour, we'll kill another member of your group. You can lie to them, each and every one of them claiming that we're killing someone else, even though none of them are actually dying. And sooner or later, maybe someone will potentially break because he doesn't want the guilt of having let all his friends, companions, or groupmates die. There are a lot of interesting psychological games that interrogators use to extract information. And to be honest with you, some of the stuff they use is inhumane, but like I said, all is fair in love and war. Right now, I believe they told us that the Viscount will be interrogated at night, hence why we decided to use our Phantom cigar. Fast forward time. And we'll be moving out to potentially extract the Viscount. I believe we've already missed one interrogation. At some point, Miller did say that they've executed one prisoner already, so we won't be able to get that little extra bonus of GMP of extracting all the prisoners. We've missed out on one. But that shouldn't really be much of a problem. The GMP from the mission itself is already decent enough, and getting the Viscount is always a good asset to have. But sadly, we still have an overstocked mother base, so he'll be in the waiting room as well. But as you saw, as we're scanning out the area, and as I will continue to scan out the area right now, there are an extreme number of high-level soldiers, A+, double A+, even multiple tiered soldiers who have A+ or A++ in multiple facets, as you can see right now. So I decided to myself, even if we extract the Viscount, I still have to stay here and try extract everyone and take over the guard post. Even though most of these soldiers will be in the waiting room, when the time comes for us to actually build our FOB in this playthrough, let's just say if we get raided and lose our first batch of extremely good soldiers, we will have more soldiers in the waiting room with extremely high stats anyway. So that in itself is good to have. Every time you run your FOB, and let's just say you got raided and they took quite a lot from you, always come back to missions where you suspect or where you saw high ranking officers or places you had previously taken over, and multiple times, because usually as you continue to raid the same area over and over again in the same map, chances are they use more resources to stop you. So they start placing claymores, they start placing gun turrets in situational positions so that they know you run past a certain area. So if they do spot you, they can quickly run to the gun turret. So that's more turrets you can filter back to your FOB. There are claymores that you can take and use for yourself. They start placing
Analysis complete.
armored soldiers. You can use their equipment against them, probably steal a shield from someone, go around hiding behind the shield while firing. They also start placing high-level soldiers and snipers in the area because they feel that the normal ranking soldiers that were there in the first place just weren't good enough. And they start replacing the mechanics slowly and slowly and slowly to make the area harder and harder and harder and harder for you to actually get past. And in that regard, it's a very advantageous situation for yourself to come back and redo past missions like I've been doing here, recording for you guys. And one other note for restocking your FOB, or if you want to fill up your waiting room as much as possible so that your FOB will always be stocked no matter how hard it's raided. Always look for high-ranking side ops. There are some side ops that offer GMP and potential Fulton victims in the regard of, for example, go extract the high-skilled soldier side ops, or go extract the intel operative side ops, or go extract the old mother base personnel side ops. Those ones will always give you decent or high-ranking soldiers if you can complete the mission properly and extract the target. Or there are some where you have to save prisoners. Some of those prisoners will be good medics or intel operatives. Always good, because more medics equals your soldiers can recover faster from the sickbay, especially if those medics are high-ranking medics. But anyway, we're moving in close to the Viscount right now. I was just reading on some of his information. You can pause that section if you want to read what was written. Let's hear what they have to say. But we need to be careful, because if we do the wrong thing, we could get him killed.
Analysis has been updated. Mission info has been updated. The map has been updated.
Sorry we kept you waiting.
You're gonna kill me anyway.
Ek sê jy gaan hom in elk geval doen.
Miskien nie. Afhangende van wat jy my vertel.
Maybe not, depending on what you tell me.
We don't know the informant's identity.
Hy sê hulle weet nie wie die informant is.
Ek vind dit baie moeilik om te glo.
He does not believe you.
Maar as jy so graag die emmer wil skoon, dis ek opgestel.
If you want to die, we will make it happen.
Nooit met die Britte gewerk het nie.
We never should have worked with the Brits.
You're a nationalist.
Is jy 'n nasionalis?
Apartheid's on its last legs already. Get with the times.
Apartheid is besig om tot 'n einde te kom.
Dis die arrogansie van 'n verwagting.
Now, in that particular situation, the reason why I decided to run in and kill them was because I was scared that they were about to aim the gun and shoot the Viscount. So, usually what I believe is best for you to do.
Get yourself out of the hot zone, by chopper or by land. It's your choice.
What I believe you should have done, if I were to redo that section again, is either throw in a smoke grenade, or take out your night vision goggles and then tranquilize them all. Or you can stand right outside of a range of vision by the door, tranquilize the first guy. There'll be two guys left, they'll get into a frenzy, then run in and tranquilize them both. Because currently I don't have enough time on my reflex to tranquilize three guys at the same time in such a small room. Because of the fact that the tranquilizer is a single shot, and then you reload and then you fire another single shot. It's not rapid fire, which in itself, I don't know. I believe I still could have done it if I was up for it. Potentially you tranquilize the guy with the gun. There was one guy who had his gun already ready. You tranquilize him first. The other guys, even if you can't reflex them, by the time reflex ends, they will still be drawing their guns. They won't be ready to shoot the Viscount either way. That's how I believe it could have gone. But anyway, the Viscount's been secured. But I already had a Afrikaans interpreter, hence why it wasn't such a great loss. But if you're coming here for the first time, you could extract the interpreter that was moving around with the interrogator, or you could extract the interrogator and the interpreter if you want to just double down on soldiers. The third soldier was the bodyguard, I believe, was in such high level, so that guy didn't really matter much. I believe his best stat was either a B or an A, which isn't really all that at this particular point in the game, but you could have extracted him too if you really wanted to. So you could potentially just gas the room, shoot the bodyguard with the gun out, and then move in and tranquilize the interrogator and the interpreter. I don't know. It's all just a shady situation. It's all just a shady situation. But as it goes, we managed to extract 3 prisoners, including the Viscount. We let 1 prisoner die. Not too sure what information he could have given us, but in the end, the Viscount was always interrogated in that same room. If you do not alert the guards, if you don't alert the interrogator or the interpreter, or if you don't extract the interpreter before they meet the Viscount, you always find them in that room if you did it properly. If you make a mistake and ring an alert, I believe they just start killing prisoners until you can find the Viscount. And of which, if you don't know where he is and he hasn't been brought out yet, they'll kill him as well. Then mission is failed. I don't know. A different situation, I believe I could have done. By the way, high-ranking soldiers like this, as you can see, are actually exactly that. They're very skillful and can put up a very good fight. I don't know. I wish as more mods for the PC community come out, people continue to make more difficulty mods for the game, and potentially you'll have more situations like this where you encounter soldiers that are able to fight back at a very high skill level as you would do as Big Boss. I don't know. It's quite interesting that little encounter. I wasn't really ready for it. I raised my gun at him. Put your hands in the air. He did that, but then you couldn't interrogate, you couldn't ask him anything. The only thing you could do was give orders to the dog. Caution. Next thing you know, the guy is reaching his hands down. You don't know what to do. Should I just shoot the guy, or should I knock him out? I tried to shoot him. I saw, oh no, he has a helmet. Next thing you know, he's reacting, he's knocking me down. I'm on the floor, I'm knocking him down. I get up, he tries to get up, I knock him down again. Go for the KO. I don't know. Really decent. But as I was saying, D-Dog excels in such situations where you are encountering groups of enemies who are not on alert and you're catching them by surprise, because technically you could walk in with an automatic or a semi-automatic and then start popping off as you are in reflex. But D-Dog gives you the ability to take out one person before you reflex. Which is good, because think about it like this: you walk in with your assault rifle, you see 5 people, one sees you, you reflex him, and then you have to aim reflex 1, reflex 2, reflex 3, then they're all dead. Which if you haven't upgraded your bionic arm, your reflex might not be as long enough to compensate for such an encounter. But if there are 4 of them, you send in D-Dog, he jumps on one while the other ones are going in a frenzy. As they're going in a frenzy, you walk in, shoot one, then 2 are left, 1 goes into reflex, you shoot him, and then you shoot the other one. It's a much simpler situation. And if they shoot D-Dog, he'll just drop and get injured. It's not like he'll die, and they still won't know it's you. Unless they shot D-Dog while looking at you, then they'll know, okay, we should go into reflex mode and go into an alert status. As it stands right now, they should be, besides this one guy I'm tranquilizing right now, I believe there should be a few more high-ranking elite soldiers, but I'm not too sure. Maybe I was wrong, maybe it's just one more soldier with an A or a B. But I really enjoy the lighting at night when it's raining in Africa. It's amazing stuff. Check out his stats. I personally can't wait for Metal Gear Online for the PC. As it seems though, like I had said, it came out on the consoles, I believe it was 6 October, it's been a while now. And I don't know, I guess it's because there are so many competitive and social multiplayer shooting games on console that it's a really saturated market. But on PC there are not so many, especially in terms of third-person games as a whole, let alone third-person competitive shooting games. They're not really all that many. The market in PC gaming, there are many first-person shooters, but there are not many very good competitive popular first-person shooters. That market is a niche, more on the side of just Call of Duty, Battlefield, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive, of which Counter-Strike being the extremely most popular on PC, as it rakes in the largest money in the esports scene. So as I was saying, Metal Gear Online is out on the consoles, but for me it feels as if the community is already, it's not going to be an esport, is what I'm trying to say. Reason why I believe that quote-unquote esports are the life of a multiplayer game, look at, for example, Metal Gear Online right now. The game itself is good, but if you were to go, for example, onto Twitch, there are not that many people watching people play Metal Gear Online, and there are not many people streaming Metal Gear Online. But then look at games like Rainbow Six Siege, the beta that just was on a couple of weeks ago. Look at Counter-Strike Global Offensive, look at even Titanfall, a game that didn't do so great in the past, but when it came out, look at the number of views that streamers of Titanfall, Evolve, streamers of Call of Duty, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, Battlefield Hardline, all the Battlefield games. People were anticipating Dirty Bomb to be good until it kind of muted itself with microtransactions. Look at games like Warframe, look at games like the new Blizzard FPS that's coming out soon. It's all in all, the future or the popularity of a multiplayer game is based on the event that it will have a competitive scene, because as soon as you get popular community figures and celebrities to start hyping your game is when more people start streaming it and more people will start playing it. And that's why I believe that MGO on console is a good game, but it's not going to last very long. That community will die out, similar to for example, the Last of Us multiplayer. Last of Us multiplayer is extremely, well, I find it extremely interesting, but it has no esports scene, so that's why only a few people stream it, and there will not be many events or even any news about Last of Us multiplayer. It's just the way it is. But I don't know, it's the way it is. It's the way it is. I hope for the sake that on PC there are not many competitive third-person shooters, that at least a community could be born and someone were to somehow force it to become a decent multiplayer, at least an esport within the PC realms, then at least it will have some longevity, because MGO on console hasn't even been out for a month, and the number of views on Twitch on its own have dropped significantly low. You'll be lucky in a day to find an MGO live stream or multiple MGO live streams that can give you at least 5,000 viewers at least, or at most. It just doesn't work. But anyway, we'll see how it goes down in January next year for MGO on PC. But anyway, thanks for listening to me rambling all this time. This was Lingua Franca, and I'll see you soon.
Boss, one of the other British prisoners filled us in about the Viscount. It turns out he's a real two-faced son of a bitch. He was planning to secure the MPLA's oil field rights for himself in exchange for swapping the CFA's alliance from the anti-government United rebels to the state-backed MPLA. He hid this from the Afrikaners, but once he thought the jig was up, he tried to pin it on the other British personnel and take off. The Afrikaners captured him, and that was when he asked us to rescue him, and only him. I'll throw him in the brig for now, but we may have to be extra persuasive with this one. By the way, boss, we got some interesting news out of our friend the Viscount. He mentioned that more than a few PFs in the region have purchased walker gears. The CFA's the same. That's Soviet Army technology, and it's still a prototype. Only Cypher could be leaking it to the PFs. But the question is, why?